Hey everybody, Ryan Gromfin here with The Restaurant Boss. You guys know me as an author, speaker, chef, restaurateur, founder of therestaurantboss.com, clickbacon.com, scalemyrestaurant.com, and soon to be the world famous book, Make It Happen. It's coming out soon, y'all. But I've got an awesome guest here today on Out of the Weeds. I wish we had it on camera, but like 2 minutes ago, he shows up late and he's like, "What's up? Let's go. We're ready to do this." I'm like, "I can't see you." He's like, "What are you talking about? The camera's pointing right at me." And then show him what you did, Will.
I'm working on it. I'm trying to not make sure I touch the keyboard bad. I've had this laptop now for a couple months, and evidently I had never taken the sticker off of the camera. It shows you how much I use this laptop, right?
Shows you what'd you say? How great you are with technology. Or you said I'm not supposed to be the guy that's great with technology.
No, not at all. So listen, I have a question. I know y'all are in Texas. Y'all don't have dispensaries or guys or something? I mean, what do y'all do when y'all are out of the weeds in Texas?
Texas doesn't smoke weed, at least not legally. Texas smokes plenty of weed, but for some reason, the legislation here in Texas is like very anti-pot, and it's weird. They actually just brought it up again, and it got voted down. It'll happen eventually, but
listen, I live in Alabama. I mean. Come on. I've been rehearsing that joke like since we started talking about this. I was like, Dave, I'm going to get on and I'm going to make a joke about being out of the weeds.
We're not going to talk about barbecue today because I got my Texas style barbecue. Will's got his Bama style barbecue. All I'm going to say is mayonnaise does not belong in barbecue sauce. But
you're right, it doesn't. It's its own sauce that's called Slammin' Bama white sauce.
That's what
look, I'm gonna send you a bottle for your chicken.
Just don't waste your money. Send me the bottle. Just tell me how you make it, and I'll make a batch exactly how you make it.
Okay. Well, the problem is you won't have no chub rub, and to make it proper, you're gonna have chub rub. So I'll send you enough rub to rub your chub proper, and get all kind of flavor and seasoning. Deliciousness.
As much as I am loving this and I want to have this conversation, and I knew this was going to happen. Normally when we do this, Andrew on my team sends out an email with like 5 potential questions we're going to ask. So that way people are prepared for it. When Andrew is like, "What questions do you want to ask Will?" I'm like, "There aren't going to be any questions." I'm like, "We're going to turn on the camera and we're just going to talk." But in all seriousness, I want the people who watch this to have as much fun as we're having. So I just want to quickly introduce Will. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name.
Cholowinski.
We just call him the Chub Father, as you can see. I don't even want to ask what's in the Chub Rub or what the Chub Rub is for. I think it's multi-purpose. I know it's used on meat before smoking.
Yes.
But I'm afraid that if you use it. So, anyways. In all seriousness, guys, this could potentially be a very powerful conversation. Yes, we're going to have fun, but Will was introduced to me about 4 years ago. Will was not in a good place. I'll let Will tell you about that. And I just asked permission because I didn't know if Will was going to be okay with me sharing this. But Will did give me permission, and I appreciate it. And I think that just says something about the honesty and the true intentions of this man and how amazing he is. But Will was in such a bad place that a client of mine that I had flown out to Alabama and done some really great work with actually recommended me, but Will couldn't even afford to pay some of his bills. And so this guy paid for Will to work with me for 4 or 5 months. And, that meant so much to me. It's the first time anything like that ever happened. And I know I took the coaching with Will even more serious than I do anyone else. Because this was real. This wasn't just about a guy who was trying to open up a second or third or fourth restaurant, which I love those. And this wasn't just about a guy who's like, my restaurant could be doing better. This was life and death. Maybe not that dramatic, but this was seriously about a guy who was in trouble. And I want him to kind of tell you about what we did or how he pulled himself out of the weeds. And hopefully you guys can learn something here. So Chub Father, life is good now. We can laugh. We can have some fun, but 4 or 5 years ago, I don't think things were looking this good.
No, man, I was hurting, and it's crazy because you have a what is on paper and in people's eyes a successful business, and we were successful to a degree. We had awards and plaques and things to that effect, but I was miserable. You know, I had gone through some things with, you know, a lot of loss and theft from people that I shouldn't have been in business with, that I was in business with, and, you know, everybody. So all that bad stuff happened. The first thing that started pulling me out of all of the nonsense was my conversations with myself in the mirror and understanding that, yo, listen, a snake is genetically engineered to do one of two things: bite you or strangle your ass. So if you lay down with a snake and you get bit or you get strangled, well, there's a good chance it's really not the snake's fault, because the snake did what the snake's supposed to do. So step number one, own your mistakes. They're only mistakes if you don't learn from them. Yo, I got a crazy, like, the money I lost, I got like, I don't know, what's better than a Harvard business education? Isn't there something that's supposed to be more fancy and expensive than that?
I mean, like, better than Harvard? I mean, Stanford, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
Hard knocks, if you ask me.
Yeah, man, I got a real expensive freaking education about the reality of doing business with other people and depending on other people. And because I depended on other people to do other things, they didn't do such a good job. But I took all that on my shoulders because I let them strangle me. I let them bite me. And it weighed on me so heavy because I was a failure. And I really wasn't. You know, and it's crazy because I talk to you, I talk about the restaurant boss to people a lot of time, and it's probably real untraditional in a lot of ways, the ways that you helped me. Because for me, you know, we had some sales, you know, we were doing well, but my confidence was crap. I had no faith in me making the right decision. But it was funny because, you know, I always have hairbrains. I'm like freaking Ed Norton and Ralph Cramden. I'm like, hey, Ralphie boy, let's go make some money, okay? Yo, I'm a freaking hustler, man. I will go get it. I don't care. You feel me? And so there were times where I'd be talking to Ryan, and he's like, oh, you know what we need to do is we need to put 2 1-pound patties on a burger, and we gotta go there, and then we're gonna get 7 pounds of French fries.
We did like what did we do? We did a mashup like Thursday where we took 2 menu items that shouldn't go together and we put them together. We did secret words, like we did like just walk into the restaurant and say pickle.
Yeah.
And if you say pickle, you get like a free order of French fries, and we would tweet it out. And I'm like, Will, how did it work? Will's like, dude, I'm at the cash register, and some lady just walks up to me and she says, pickle. And I'm like, it worked.
Yo, it's like that's how cougars flirt with you in Alabama. In the 2020s, they're like,
they want some chub rub.
Hey, pickle. All right, what up?
Oh man.
No, so there were times when I talked to you.
Gonna be fun.
There were times when I would talk to you and you would say stuff to me. I'm so happy I haven't even cursed yet. And
don't worry, I will.
I'm like, this dude is fucking crazy. Like, he's more off his damn rocker than I am. But what it did, in all honesty, it made me see that I wasn't normal and that was okay. Like, I believed in what I was doing. I had just been taken off course by some crazy shit that had happened. And I didn't trust me anymore. I didn't believe in me anymore. And so, yeah, it was some hard conversations, some real conversations, some time in the mirror. So, you know, I don't know if, like I said, my story as it relates to what you normally do is average. But I think the thing that you did the most for me, and I tell people all the time, was that you made me realize it was okay to be me, that I didn't have to be in a box, that I could just be a 40-year-old big-ass kid that wanted to make cheeseburgers with signs that said, put a little chub in your cheeks, you know?
And the other side of that, though, is the guy that sponsors autism nights with lower, sensory nights with low music and lower lights. So yeah, you could be the fun-loving, crazy, wild hair guy, but deep down inside is the teddy bear. And I think people see that, and I think that's where what you're doing right now is it's coming from a place of pure, genuine fun. We're just out here. Restaurants don't all need to be boring. They don't all need to be there is room for, in fact, it's what we preach is be different, be unique, be fun, do what other people aren't doing. If you sell the same burger with the same bun, with the same frozen French fries, with the same cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and if your special sauce is the same as everyone else's special sauce, why is anyone going to buy your burger? Price. That's the only reason why. And so don't try to do that. Don't do the same. I work with so many pizzerias and Italian restaurants that do the same pizza as everyone else, the same Hawaiian pizza as everyone else. And when I talk to them about make it different, do something fun, let's make your own bacon, or let's do this, or let's just come up with all this new stuff. It's like, I don't know. It's so much work. But if you sell the same Hawaiian pizza as Domino's and Papa John's and every other place in your area, and you may think, oh, well, mine's just better. You got to be different. You got to be unique. You got to stick out from the crowd.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you the biggest secret to our success is that I don't care about money. I mean, I clearly need it to take care of my family, and I needed to be able to take care of my employees. But as it relates to my bottom line, I'm trying to get to a point where we can feed 1 million people 3 times a day, 365 days a year at no expense to the federal government. I am successful because the God I serve understands that I am a channel and not a reservoir. The blessings flow through me. They don't stop with me. I'm also a person who, you can spend all the time you want at the doctor, eating vitamins, getting this treatment, getting that treatment, taking this course, taking that course. Yo, listen, the idea is not to add days to your life, baby. The idea is to add life to your days, because you never know when your number's getting called and you're going wherever it is that you're going. So my business really isn't about me. It's about being my brother's keeper and feeding the people. See, it says it on my arm. See right
Feed
there.
the people. That's what you've always been.
And this side, so this new tattoo I got not too long ago, the Sunday that I had found out that we had donated our first 5,000 meals, the gospel at church was the multiplication of the loaves and the fish to feed the 5,000. So I knew that on the other side of my arm, I had to have the loaves and the fish. So when I put them up together, it makes a statement. And, I would encourage, listen, and it's crazy. People laugh at me. I've tried to get other business owners to participate in our Feed the People initiative, and they won't do it because they don't want to give away a drink, because a drink is the highest margin item in their restaurant. Yo, guess what? Not only do I write off the drinks that I give away, but I write off all the cans that get donated to me for the drink. You can't be short-sighted. We have to listen. You don't want to pay as much in taxes. You don't want to do all these things. You don't want to have to pay for this program and that program and this, that, and the other. Don't. Take care of people your damn self. And the federal government won't require you to do it. And if we can get back to taking care of each other, then they'll generally just have to leave us the hell alone because they won't have control anymore. I'm just saying.
I knew this was going to be fun. But I mean, forget about even just the money, the tax write-offs of all of that. It's that I know that's great, and I know that's not why you do it. But we've got to have something that moves us, something that is bigger than us. Like I'm finding myself in the last couple of months really needing to reattach to my mission, because when I started consulting, it was not for any other reason than I had opportunities to be a chef. I could have been a chef anywhere I wanted. Yeah, the restaurant partnership I was in had blown up in a blaze of glory and I needed a job, but I would have found a job at any 5-star hotel. I could have been a chef at nearly any restaurant, but I had a mission. I needed to serve this industry because I was sick and tired of the way that I was treated as an employee in the restaurant business. I hated what I saw when I was working in independent restaurants. I hated that people only looked at the restaurant industry as a job to get to the next job. It was, oh, well, I've got goals. I just need this job now, and I got other things to work on. Why aren't people coming? No one goes to an accounting firm and says, I'm just going to be an accountant for a few years while I do the rest. But you could make so much money. You could live such a good life in this industry. And so for me, again, it's about attaching back to my mission of, I believe in the independent restaurant owner. I believe in the staff, the team that works for the independent restaurant owner. I believe in the independent restaurant industry, but things need to change because, quite frankly, the corporates are kicking our butts right now. And the corporates are kicking our butts because they've just figured out some of the things that we haven't yet. Now, that's my mission. I want the independent restaurant to operate as well as the corporate. I want the independent restaurant owner to be able to take weekends off, to be able to go on vacation, to be able to provide for their family. I want the staff, the team that works for the independent restaurant to want to grow up in the restaurant business, to want to grow and open up their own place or open up more restaurants. And so what's your mission? Will's feed the people, man. It's right there. Am I right? Is it feed the people? Is that your mission?
Yeah, man. Yep,
so what's your mission out there in the restaurant business? Why does your restaurant exist? If your restaurant only exists because of a bottom line, if you're not in some way community and employee focused, that might be one of the reasons why you're having a hard time finding staff right now, because people want to attach to a mission. If your restaurant isn't about giving back somehow to the community, about making your community a better place than it was yesterday, or doing whatever it is that you believe in that you do. But I love what you just said here. Stop adding days to your life. Start adding life to your days.
Yeah, man.
And one of the best ways we do that is let's give a little bit more. Let's serve a little more.
If people out there in internet TV land watching this dude right here in this other screen, he helped me be able to cash a paycheck again. Real talk. We did things and we came up with ways that allowed me to cash a paycheck from a job that I went to 80, 90 hours a week. All my staff was taken care of, well taken care of, but I wasn't taken care of. And he helped me get back to making sure. A lot of what he did was help me understand how important it is for me to take care of me. And then it was okay to take care of me. Hit this dude up, man. Give it a try. It's not just, yeah, he's got some fancy ideas about menu items and specials and all this other kind of stuff. But it's so important to be able to talk with somebody who understands us restaurant cats. We're different. You know what I'm saying? We don't think like, part of the reason why I liked you so much, because I was like, yo, this some bitch is crazier than I am. That's rare.
Crazy about life, crazy about systems, crazy about processes. You know what I'm crazy about? Like I said earlier, I am just absolutely crazy about, and right now more than ever, we've got to start taking better care of our teams. We've got to start taking better care of our team members, of the people who live in our community and work in our restaurant. This industry is suffering right now. And I'm just curious, Will, are you having the same challenges? Are you having trouble finding staff right now? I had a feeling that was not staged. I did not know the answer to that question. I went out on a limb to ask that.
Could I have more people?
Of course.
I could. But, I'm always looking for the next angle and the next opportunity. But you know what? I lost a grand total of 3 people during the virus between the 2 restaurants. One of them left for money. One of them, which I'm not knocking that hustle. One of them left for money. One of them left because they were the primary caregiver of their elderly parents. And one of them left because the breadwinner in his house, his wife, was a ER nurse. And she just, it clearly made no sense for him to come to work every day.
Yeah, he would have too much exposure risk.
But people say, "Oh, look, I can't afford insurance. For my staff, I can't." Boo! You don't want to give your staff insurance. You can afford it. Yo, listen, if you at the point in your business where you feel like you have to cut costs, guess what? You already out of business.
You're in the debt. It's the spiral of death. I call it the quality spiral.
You are already out of business. Just go ahead, lock the door, and go home. Because now is not the time. If you're struggling, cutting costs ain't going to make you money. What's the man say? Increase your activity. 10 times that. You got to dig down and find and do. It's the only way. It's the only way that you'll succeed. You ain't making no money by saving money. That don't make money. You need to increase your revenue, increase your activity. Hire the people. Go find stuff for them to do. Listen, I did something as simple several years back as I went to a cash discount program with my credit card processing. So I no longer pay for credit card processing. I charge a 3.61% fee to run a credit card. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't do that. My customers will be so pissed off." Guess what I did? Instead of taking that money and putting it in my pocket, I used those savings to pay for health insurance for my staff. The guy my insurance guy, and all you business owners, check this out. It's Philadelphia American Independent Insurance Company or some shit like that.
You'll send me the link and you'll send me a contact and we'll put it below the video.
I spend the average cost for my staff, full coverage, is about $110 a month. They get $250,000 a year worth of medical coverage, hospitalization, vision, dental, hearing, whatever the case may be. There's no copays. There's no deductibles. Now you got to be in the network, and there is better insurance. But if I spend a week in the hospital, I'm gonna pay $1,500 out of pocket. Me, my wife, and my kids, $600 a month. And like I said, it's not Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's not, but it's reliable health insurance that you can offer as part of an incentive package. Because what's the difference between you? I mean, hell, McDonald's is paying $15 an hour right now. So what's the difference between your joint and McDonald's? What separates you? You have to do something.
And the argument can be made that in many ways, a lot of people might rather work at McDonald's, where the systems, the processes, the procedures, it may not be the most glamorous job, but on the other hand, you show up, you clock in, you do your work. They've got training, they've got the options, the medical, all that other stuff. I mean, I was doing a podcast yesterday with someone. We were talking about the same thing. Of course, someone rang my doorbell. The dog started barking while we were doing it live. But the point is, it was a guy delivering a package it was an eBay package that I ordered. So I don't know if he was delivering for FedEx or who he was delivering for, but it was in his own car. It was Postal Service. He was in his own car, like busting Beats by Dre headphones, bouncing around, listening to music, having a good old time. That guy probably, I'm assuming, and maybe I'm assuming wrong, but his options were, working in a restaurant or doing that or a couple of other things. Why would he want to work in a restaurant in the way that a lot of us treat our restaurant staff? When he could be in his car, listening to his music, getting insurance probably, working his own hours. So things need to change in the restaurant business. We got to start taking care of our teams better. We got to start paying a little bit more, dare I say. Now, to your point, and again, I had no idea where this conversation was going to go, and I'm enjoying it, but many people are going to say, well, I can't pay, like what you said, I can't pay more.
You can't.
So they're going to want to raise prices, or they're going to want to cut expenses somewhere else. But the reality is, I think we also have to start looking at our business models. I'm curious what you think. We just got to start looking at everything. We got to start looking at, it's not a matter of can I pay more? It's a matter of I must pay more. Now, what do I have to do to support that?
Right. And listen, if you're one of those people in the restaurant that's tired of being in the restaurant and wants to go do something else, Go do it for your damn self. Being a boss and an owner is like the hardest ever. But it's more worth it than, hey man, I'm trying. Can't you see I'm on live TV right here? Y'all all yin yang and yip and get out. Stop trying to hog my camera.
Here, let me video you.
He's hiding now. Don't hide, man.
These two skinny to hide. He can hide anywhere in this place. He can hide in one of my personal crevices.
Fit in the door jam between the refrigerator and the wall. Not you and I.
But no, man, look, you got to think outside of the box. You've got to find ways to, I bought and sold food trucks during the pandemic. I bought and sold restaurant equipment. If there was a hustle, I found it. You can't be, people see fail, I see tried. And it really is a matter of this space. You and I are both love the game of golf. The hardest thing about golf, I know, is the 6 inches between your ears.
Right
the
here.
most difficult thing
Right
in
here.
golf is this area right here.
And so
It's no different than the restaurant business.
let's go down that road for a minute. Why is that the hardest part about golf?
Because you get in your own head.
But why?
Because you overthink things.
Because you can't blame anyone or anything.
No, it's on
It's
you.
you. It's
Yeah.
you against the course. The ball.
Except for one time I did have a dude throw a water moccasin out of
Okay, well, if you throw a water moccasin at me, I'm gonna mess you up. Let's just leave it at that. If you don't know what a water moccasin is, they're a southern thing. They are nasty, aggressive, highly poisonous, just nasty snakes. I mean,
this dude was just prodding a water moccasin with his 8-iron.
These are aggressive snakes. Like rattlesnakes, like if you step on a rattlesnake, it'll bite you. But rattlesnakes aren't aggressive. They just sit there, they wave their tail, they tell you, you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. If you walk within 5 feet of a moccasin, that guy will strike. They are nasty, mean snakes. The only thing I'm afraid of in the world, really, is water moccasins on my golf course.
I hate snakes in general.
Oh, I hate all snakes, but there was a snake on the golf course. We had a rat snake, which is like a rattlesnake without a rattle. They're not poisonous. The other day we were playing, that wasn't being mean to it, but like we picked it up with our 8-iron. We were having fun with it because they don't care. I'm not afraid of snakes. I'm afraid of water moccasins. But anyways, here's my thoughts on this. So this is awesome. This is going long. I don't care. This is great. It's the 6 inches between your head and golf that's the hardest thing in the world because you can't blame anyone else. The ball is standing still. The grass is right in front of you. The wind is blowing and you can feel it. Nothing moves in golf except for you. You can't blame anyone else. There's no pitcher that you could blame. There's no teammate that you can blame. There's no goalie that you can blame. There's nothing. It's quiet. It's concentration. It's you. So when you don't hit a good shot, in my opinion, this is why it's so hard. I played in a tournament over the weekend, and it's like, why am I freaking out over 3 and 4 foot putts? Because you're expected to make them, and when you don't, you have no excuse. You can't blame someone or something. It falls on you, and there's a little bit of embarrassment when you miss a 4-foot birdie putt that you should have made, and so we put the pressure on ourselves that we have to make it. But in business sometimes, or in life sometimes, when something doesn't go well, we can blame someone else. So we don't feel as much pressure. We don't feel the need to grind it, to make it, to force it to happen, to will it to happen, to put in the extra hours. Because if something goes wrong, costs are going up and employees want too much and the pandemic and this and that. But when you get rid of all those excuses, when you take like what Jocko in the book, Extreme Ownership, I think the Navy SEAL, when you call extreme ownership where everything is your fault, when you take that on to that level of it doesn't matter what's going on in this world, it's how I respond to it, you add a little bit more pressure to yourself to succeed and you work a little harder.
Absolutely. And there's so many There is so much to that golf analogy, brother, because you're right. The ball does sit still.
It's still. Almost no other sport is the ball just sitting there on a tee with an unlimited amount of time for you to hit it.
Yeah, but it's also your golf shot is never the same twice. You have to take everything that's around you into consideration to make that decision. If the ball is below your feet, you got to aim right. If the ball is above your feet, you got to aim left. You have to compensate for the things that aren't natural that are happening around you. And guess what? At the end of the day, it's still on you. How you prepare, how you trained, your process, your procedures, all of those things make a difference because those things are going to give you the ability. The lie of your ball in business may not always be perfect, but proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. That's 5 P's if you're counting.
So since I got you here, Will, let's wrap up here. But we've got someone who actually wrote a question here a few minutes ago. I've been in the restaurant industry for 20 years, doing everything under the sun, from serving, bartending, dishwashing, cooking, managing. I recently bought a food truck, looking to open really soon. Any advice? I don't know if the advice that they're asking for is necessarily food truck, but just any advice at all. What do you got?
Do it. Put yourself.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, man, do it. Put yourself 100% into it and go for it. Period. You are going. Listen. Accept the fact that you are going to fail miserably sometimes. It's just part of it, but figure out what's going to separate you. Just like the restaurant boss said on numerous occasions, figure out what's going to separate your food truck from everybody else's food truck. And don't be afraid to be different. Accept that you're not the same and then celebrate the fact that you're different. God, I'm like a freaking philosophizer. You should have me on more often.
Philosophizer, Brandon. We need a podcast, man.
Let's do it. I do a show on Saturdays. Well, we're getting ready to go back on the air. I have a show on Saturdays.
I got to get on your radio show.
Breaking Bread with AJ and the Chub Father.
Brandon said, dig the energy and the hustle, Chub Father.
Yeah, man.
So, Ebony, I'm going to just add on here really quick. And for anyone else who's watching this in the future, because this is going to live in the internet sphere on the Google forever. I agree with everything Will said. And I would just say is just every day ask yourself, what could you have done better? You can't blame anyone else for anything. You're going to have days that are bad. You're going to have days that are good. You're going to have days where your team shows up. You're going to have days where your team doesn't. You're going to have a person who complains. You're going to have an issue, a staff member who does something wrong that you've shown them how to do it 30 times in the past. But as long as you go to sleep every night asking yourself a couple of questions, which is, what did I do to contribute to that? And what can I do better tomorrow? Every day I go to sleep and I ask myself those 2 questions. When I find one thing in my day that I didn't like how it came out, and I ask myself before I go to sleep, how did I contribute to the outcome? No matter who I want to blame or no matter what I want to blame, at the end of the day, I had control of the outcome. How did I contribute to the outcome, and how am I going to make sure that I do that better next time? And I think as long as you are always doing that, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in a month, maybe not in 6 months, maybe not in 6 years, but your day will come. Listen, there is only so much better you can get before all the success that you've ever dreamed of shows up.
If you really need to hire some people, consider 2 things. I've done both. I have a very good relationship with the work release program at my local jail. I don't hire violent offenders and things of that effect, but people who just need a second chance, listen, follow me. You can only give them minimum wage. They have a ride to work. They have a ride home. The only way they can't come to work is if they have a doctor's excuse from the doctor at the infirmary. Okay, so you have a captive audience of people who just want to be able to stand outside and smoke a cigarette on their break and not be watched with a gun. Secondly, there are places in your area. For us, it's called the ARC. I have several places. I have several people on my staff that have various degrees of special needs. One guy has been with me now almost 5 years, and he touches every single burger patty that walks out this place. He said he would never live on his own. He would never drive. He would never do all these things. He makes almost $12 an hour now, and the dude has smashed. I think we figured out the other day the dude has smashed like 320,000 burgers at this point between 2 plates. Old school. That's how we do it. So yeah, man. Ryan, thank you for helping me help me. You know what I'm saying? That's real spit. That's a whole lot of what you did for me, was to just help me bring all this beautiful, luscious, boisterous, just like when I just stare in the camera like, I know I'm just making chicks crazy. Yeah, baby, all that, man.
Dude,
I
thank
don't
you,
know
brother.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know what
You
to
have
do.
you have always been amazing. I'm so glad we stay in touch. I can't wait to give you a big hug one day.
Yeah, man.
We've never been in the same room together, and I just can't wait.
Never. And we got to play. Listen, you're doing a lot better than I am. You should fly me to Texas, you cheap bastard.
I don't know, man. You told me
playing.
about something you did, some catering job you did. You made plenty of money on that catering job.
Hey, look, Bryant Denny Stadium just called me. If y'all don't know about college football, I live in Alabama, and people are crazy about Alabama football. Listen, you talk about process and systems. Nick Saban is the GOAT.
Did you watch? So this is awesome. Did you watch that thing that it was about a year ago, maybe, that Nick Saban and Bill Belichick did together on? And I can't remember. There was a couple of lines in there that were just mind blowing to me. Something about like Bill Belichick was like, it was something about. I did a video about it. I got to go back to it. I want to watch it again. But you talk about forget about whether you like the Patriots or whether you're a UT fan. Forget about any of that.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Everybody knows the Patriots are a bunch of cheaters.
Everyone knows the Patriots are a bunch of cheaters. And even if you hate Alabama football, you have maybe two of the winningest, top 5 winningest coaches at the highest levels of any sport ever, who worked with each other at some point, worked under each other at some point, who have kind of branched off and done their own things, but the same way. But exactly what Will said: systems, processes, procedures. There is a method for everything. There is an expectation. It was such a great series. I don't remember what it's called, but just Google Bill Belichick, Nick Saban, HBO or something.
And I know that you got to go, but I'm going to tell you this one more thing. So Alabama called me 3 times. I turned them down because it wasn't a smart decision. Every opportunity isn't a smart decision. There are people who said that I should have jumped the very first time that they called. It's very important in this business to understand your worth and your value. And if you're not willing to stand up for yourself as an independent restaurateur and say, this is my value, you'll never get it. Because if you just bend and you give and you take less than what you're worth, you will spend the rest of your life, damn the rest of your career, you will spend the rest of your life trying to achieve the value that you had in you from the jump. You have to know your worth and stand by that, man. The cat that was asking about the food truck, listen, you're going to have to go take some crappy food truck jobs. You're going to serve $250, $300 worth of food, and you're going to call it a successful day. And then you're going to be 5 years into it, and you're going to be able to pick and choose what you do. My wife loves to say, get what you get and don't pitch a fit. You know, she don't say that to me. You know what I'm saying? I say that to her. I'm like, get what you get and don't pitch a fit. You know what I mean? But yo, this is hard. It's hard. So
much fun.
Yeah, man. Be good to yourselves. Love everybody. Hit us up on all the social media at Chubb Fathers.
Hit up the Chub Father. If you're ever, just follow him anyways, because he's a blast to follow. But if you ever find yourself in the Birmingham area.
Can I tell them about the Feed the People initiative? Y'all can participate, please.
There you go.
Anytime that you come into my restaurant, and you guys should do this, it's part of it's another secret to my success. Once again, we don't do it for this reason, but it is helped endear us to people. Anytime you come into our restaurant, you bring us 2 non-perishable food items. You get a drink on the house. We give you a little punch card. The 15th time that you do that, you get a meal on the house. And at the end of the week, I go and I match our guests' donations. So sometime this year, between the maturation process and money we raised for disaster relief, serving folks in hurricanes with food trucks, we donated 300. We're well over 300,000 portions of food easily. And people want to talk about how awesome I am because we did that. No, that's not the point. See, what I did was this community donated 150,000 meals. I matched what they did. We make it so that people who eat with us on a regular basis, they go to the local grocery store and buy an entire flat of canned goods because they've got 15 cents in each can. That means they come into my restaurant, they pay 30 cents for a drink that would cost them $1.99. If they do that 3 times a week, they can come eat here a 4th time for almost free just in the money that they have saved by not paying for their drink. People are good. People want to help. People want to love each other. You have to give them a convenient, easy, unterrifying way to help and to make a difference. And if you have the balls to lead, people will follow.
Oh, God. Thank you. That's going. Hold on. That's got to go up here. If you have the balls to lead, people will follow. I am putting that up. This is going to be on YouTube. Deal with it.
The other thing is
I don't care.
I probably spend more time washing dishes than a business owner should. But I trust my crew. You know what I'm saying? I can do dishes at my own pace. I can stand back there and watch them, see what's going on. I can be sneaky about it. But, listen, if you're having a problem with staff retention, this kind of goes back to that. Nobody is going to want to be on your team if you're not willing to be a teammate. Yes, you're going to be the coach. And yes, you're the boss and you're in charge because at the end of the day, it's your ass that's on the line. But if you're not willing to be a teammate, nobody is going to be willing to be on your team.
And while I agree with everything you just said, I'll take it one step sideways, not further, but sideways. I want to parallel that for a second because I have a weird kind of philosophy on this. I don't think your team needs to see you wash dishes. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. No. I don't think they need that, though. I think some people think that that's how you lead. You become a great leader by doing their job or by doing a job that they don't want to do sometimes.
Let's be real. I'm just getting them off my clock an hour sooner. Come on.
There you go. But when I think of great leadership, like what you're saying here, if you have the balls to lead, people will follow. When I think of great leadership, I think of the Martin Luther King speech. I have a dream. And when you talk about like what you were saying, like people want to be taken somewhere. They want to go somewhere. They want someone to lead them. You said, make it easier for them. Make it not hard for them to donate, and they will. People are good. Your team wants more. Your team isn't happy. It's not that they're not happy with you. They're just not happy. They want more just like you want more. They may not tell you they want more because they're ashamed or embarrassed or don't believe it, but it's your job to get that out of them. It's your job to help them get more. It's your job to show them how to do it. When Martin Luther King started talking about his dream, and one of the lines of his dream is that his children will be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the character of their heart. When we talk about not being judged by the color of their skin, but the character in their heart, most of this country couldn't believe that. Most of the Black Americans in this country at that time couldn't even believe that that was possible. But someone had to have the balls to stand up and say it's possible. And they had to paint a brighter future, a future that people couldn't even believe in themselves. And then he had to say, come with me, come march with me. Not I'll stand there with you because that's what I'm supposed to do, but I'll stand there with you and I'll show you the way to your dreams. And we as restaurant owners have to do that. We have to show our team a path, not to your dream. Your team doesn't give a shit about your life. They care about their lives, and they care about how much you're adding to their lives. And here's the best part about it. When you make their life better, when you help them achieve their goals, when you help them with a struggle that they're having, when you paint a brighter future for their life than they even believe themselves, and you help them on that journey, they achieve their goals. And when they achieve their goals, you achieve your goals, but not because you set out to achieve your goals, because you set out to achieve their goals. And like I said earlier, that's my mission. My mission is not my personal goals. My mission is to serve more of you. My mission is to help more of you. The more of you I help, the more of you help them. We all achieve our goals together.
Absolutely. And you know, sometimes when an employee wants more, it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with hours. It's about fulfillment. It's about wanting to be a part of something that's bigger than yourself. And these people are looking to you to lead them. And if you just look them in the face and say, this is about nothing other than my bottom line, deuces. You have to give them some substance. And there is not a job in the restaurant that Dr. King, my favorite thing that he ever said was, listen, if you're going to sweep streets to the best of your ability. Be the best darn street sweeper you ever seen. And it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's all right if you just rock a hot dog cart.
But to that point, it's easy for some of us to sit here and say that, well, that's what's missing in the world. My employees don't have that mentality anymore. That's how I got where I got, but not today, not my team, not my employees. And I say that's bullshit.
Yep. There's a sign that hangs in this restaurant that says, don't talk about it, be about it.
But that comes from you. That comes from the leader. What you just said about if you're going to be a street sweeper, be the best. When your team comes in, yeah, your team might be a little lazy. They might be a little selfish. They might show up to work a little late. They may not have the passion for it. But do you? If you don't have the passion for it, if you don't love what you're doing, if you don't get excited about every burger that you sell, if your eyes don't light up from ear to ear when a guest walks through the door and you have the opportunity to serve that guest, your team won't light up either. If you look at the guest as an interruption of your work instead of the purpose of it, if you look at problems as an interruption of your work instead of the purpose of it, if you look at this through that lens, why would anybody work for you?
Yeah. Listen, if your business is struggling and you don't understand that it's your responsibility to earn that person's money every single time that they walk through that door, you ain't gonna have too many guests. Look, I ask people on the regular.
If every guest who ever tried your restaurant was still a guest of your restaurant, you would not have time to think about marketing.
I ask my guest, did we exceed my expectations?
Oh, that's a change.
Did we exceed my expectations? Because my expectations is that you're going to walk through this door and we're going to piss excellence. That's my expectation. You know, because listen, if the food is great and the service sucks, they ain't coming back.
So Will's question is to a whole nother level, but what I want you to ask yourself, I want you to walk up to a guest today. I dare every single person watching this video right now, or whenever you watch it, the day you watch this video or within 24 hours, walk up to one guest and ask if you exceeded their expectations. I dare you. I say that, do you have the balls to even ask that?
Mm-hmm.
Because when we do and we start having the balls to ask the question, did that hamburger exceed your expectations? Did we exceed your expectations? Did your meal exceed your expectations? You're going to get an honest answer. When we walk up to a table and say, how is everything? That's the weakest, most uninspired, most pathetic question you could ever ask. How is everything? Fine. How is everything? Fine. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear fine. It makes us feel good about ourselves. Ask if that hamburger exceeded your expectations and listen to what they say. And they may say no, but then ask why. Ask what you could have done different and get better the next day and get better the next day. And sooner than later, you'll be exceeding all of your guests' expectations for one reason only, because you know you're going to be asking them the question. You're going to raise your own bar. You're going to raise the bar of your team.
There's a reason why I'm like if you take the Googles and Yelps and Facebooks and all that stuff, I float somewhere in between the 4th and the 6th highest reviewed restaurant in the state of Alabama, consistently across gas stations, fine dining, Subways, wing stops, whatever you want. I kick them in the teeth. You know why? Because I'm damn good at my job, number one. But number two, I righteously care. If your food wasn't good, if your service wasn't great, I take that shit personally. And I'm gonna find out why, and I'm gonna make damn sure that it doesn't happen again. If there is a problem, not only do I replace a person's meal, I refund their money, and then I give them a ticket to come back and get their next one on me. And I exceeded their expectation in that moment. And yes, okay, so I just gave away a whole $9 worth of my money. But if you're customer centric, you understand that, listen, I'm not righteously trying to please that customer. I'm trying to make an impression on that customer's kids, because before too much longer, that customer is going to die. And if you don't have the ability to serve their kids, then you have nothing.
And that right there, all of the philosophical reasons that you said. Now let's just get businessy for a second. All right, fine. You gave away $9, but no. I'm saying that's amazing. But what I'm saying is you just earned a relationship that's deeper than someone who comes in and loves their burger.
Mm-hmm.
The best customers I ever had when I was operating restaurants were customers that I royally screwed up and fixed. And then they come back the next day and they're like, hey, Ryan, I want you to meet my friends. I brought them in today and I told them about what you did yesterday. And they all said they want to eat at the restaurant where that happened. And now I have a personal relationship with her and 4 of her friends who know me as the guy who made her friend's day or flipped it around or whatever you want to call it. And then those people come in and they want to introduce me to their friends. Some of the best relationships you will ever have are the people that you royally screwed up on, but fixed it and fixed it right.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to admit that you made a mistake.
Who cares?
You know what I'm saying? Just go own it. I would rather somebody come and tell me, yo, listen, I took my eyes off of that steak and it just got overcooked a bit. I'm sorry. I got you another one working already. I'm good. People are human. I mean, we're going to make mistakes, but if you don't own that, then...
And leave the food in front of them. Don't take it away.
Please leave the food in front of them. Oh, my God.
Don't take it away. I hate when I go to a restaurant and something's not right, and then they take it away, and now all my family's eating, and I got nothing in front of me. Like, yo, this wasn't right, but don't take it away from me. I'm still hungry.
No, because guess what? The people sitting in front of and behind and on either side are watching you deal with the situation. You are making an impression on your guests. And let me tell you, if you are snatching the food out in front of them and saying, well, we'll just remake it, that's not the right impression.
Well, because then it's the punishment mentality. It's the mentality of, well, if you didn't like it, then you don't deserve this right now. So we're going to remake it for you, but you need to be punished while we're remaking it for you.
Yeah, no.
Leave it in front of them. And in fact, bring them something else.
To your dog. I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah. Chubb father, man.
Ryan, brother.
How can we help? How can we help with the Feed the People initiative? What do you need?
Man, what I need is for other restaurateurs to give a damn about being their brother's keeper and figure out a way to do something. You don't have to do it how I do it. I get it.
Do you allow like other, do you have like rules for, like not rules, but like a framework for how this works that that we can share with other restaurants? Is that something we need to work on together?
We actually only have one other restaurant that's in Mississippi that does it how we do it. And they have survived and flourished. And yeah, man, I'll send you that information. Look, I don't want credit, but what I would love is that if you were starting a Feed the People initiative of some sort, if you're doing a can drive or collecting food, whatever, hit me up and let me know, because I have 60, 70,000 people that I can reach on social media in a minute's notice. I want to tell them that if they're in your neck of the woods, to come see you. I want to celebrate you being willing to make a difference.
And how do they get if they just Google Chub Father?
Yeah, man. Listen, make sure you put 2 B's in it though. Because if you Google Chub Father with just 1 B,
you might not like what you see. Well, you might like what you see, but you might not.
Hey, listen, whatever you want to do, how you do you.
But if you want Will,
yes, CHUBB,
2 B's.
Yes. And man, look, and like, listen, if you're on the fence and you don't know whether or not you think Ryan can help you, call me. 205-685-0950 is the restaurant's number. I will let you know exactly what he did for me and whether or not I think you should spend the money or not. I'll tell you honestly, I've had people call me and say, well, if I talk to Ryan and did, I'm like, no, dude, you're just bad at your job close. But I've had people call me because you gotta be real with some people. Some people are not worth it. Some people got no business in this business, and it's just we're just being real. But no, seriously, if you want a recommendation, and like I said, my experience wasn't what I imagine a typical experience with the restaurant boss is, and it's because I didn't want a typical experience, and Ryan was more than willing to offer a less than typical experience because it's the thing that was going to help me. Doesn't have an ego involved. He doesn't want to help you just so you can say, oh, look how many I've helped 7,000 people. He ain't doing this shit for himself. The fact of the matter is he could have just kept opening and flipping in restaurants and made his money and played his golf and not gave a damn about none of you. That's not what he did. He chose to take his servant's heart to another level. That's all I got to say about that.
Appreciate you, brother.
Love you too, man.
All right, buddy. Be good.
Yep.
We're going to be in touch here.
Let's do this again.
I'd love it. Let's do this every week. This is awesome.
Hey, let me know.
I will. I'm gonna send you an email later this week. My brain's already spinning. We got to do more of this. This was awesome.
Cool, brother.
See you, pal. Enjoy it.
Yep. How do I turn this off?
I'll just hit the end button right now and